Hey everybody, John Huber here, Maryland Education Network, brought to you by Maryland K-12. I came across this article last week in the Baltimore Sun, and I wish I'd have came across it sooner. It's a relatively recent article. It's this article that just goes after Baltimore County as usual because they're saying their virtual learning program is used as a punishment. They cite all these facts and statistics about how it makes the kids disengaged, and they do worse on the virtual programs than they do in the traditional classroom settings. Particularly students who are more academically advanced, because those courses tend to not be offered in a virtual setting. But in any case, it's this big long article about how they're using it as punishment, and then this poor child who was put on it just doesn't do well and everything. Well, what I find interesting is what he did in the first place, and this is according to the article. It says he posted a photo of himself on social media with a photo of what appeared to be a semi-automatic gun with the caption, "Ain't nobody bulletproof." He sent a direct message to another student with a photo of himself holding up a case of bullets and wrote, "Armor-piercing rounds hurt like a bitch. I'll wait until I see Anaya outside of school." So this is what he did. He took a picture of himself, guns, bullets. Wait till I see you outside of school. Okay? And then they make this big, long case that how this poor child was put on virtual learning, and he was a good kid. He didn't do anything. He's never done anything wrong before. He's made some poor choices, and now his grade. I get that, but what happens if you're the? This was sent to one kid. He made threats. He didn't just send pictures. He made threats. Um, what if you're the person who's the threat's being directed to? Right? What about that person? What about all the other kids who are now afraid? Right? I get it. Virtual learning is certainly not optimal for anybody. But what gets me about this is, and there's it's a lot of article, and basically what happened was he made a comment, a funny comment about they had a stabbing at this school, and he made a comment about you're all playing samurai in the cafeteria, ha ha. Well, people took offense to it because someone was hurt at this stabbing, and they said if you think it's funny, you're going to get beat up. And then that's when he posted a picture of him with this gun saying, wait till I see you out of school. But he, right? If that child would have not been removed and would have been left in the school or would have done something else, then they would write an exact article about how you're leaving children in the school who are making these horrible threats. Okay? You can't have it both ways. You can't talk about how there's no accountability in education and then in the same breath talk about when you do have accountability that it's not fair. You you have to make up your mind, one or the other. Do you want accountability? And if you do, then yes, you're going to be removed from school. Yes, you're going to be put on virtual learning. And it goes it talks about all kinds of things. It says uh 2 years, Ryan, he was in ROTC. He talk about, and it says now he can no longer participate. Yeah, that's right. You can't participate anymore. I'm sorry, Ryan, but you can't. Um, the lady was upset that her son had foolishly put his future at risk. His future's not at risk. I mean, if this is all he ever does, it'll eventually go away, and and the world's going to go on. But for now, sorry, you can't come to school, because if he did, there would be an uproar from the other 98% of the parents. So you can't have it both ways, and that's the topic of this thing. And then there's articles about this, and then they will write the same article about how there's lack of accountability for students and how horrible the discipline is, and they're letting kids into school who are acting this way. And then when they take them out of school, then they do an article on this saying, oh my God, they're taking this poor kid out, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, it's a very difficult situation to be in. I side with Baltimore County on this. I don't know all the particulars. I know as much as I read this article. If you're going to send threats with a picture of a gun and bullets and saying armor piercing, whatever he said, I mean, you heard what I said. I'm sorry, you're not going to come to school. Um, it's just that simple. Even if it is your first offense, yes, you can't come in. Anyway, that's my little tidbit. You can't have it both ways, people. In Maryland, you can't have it both ways. You're either going to have kids who are going to be accountable, and then this sort of thing's going to happen, or you're not, and you're going to let that kid back in. I vote for the former. Anyway, thanks. Have a great day.